Frag Attack Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, baby, for a special Xbox reveal episode of Frag Tag Radio. And here with you today are your boys, Pradius,
J to the Ray,
and Matterafact.
All right, so straight off the Xbox reveal, we just finished watching it. So I guess we'll start off with, thoughts. Overall feel of the conference, Jay, and then we'll go around to me.
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was great.
Not all questions were answered.
No,
sure.
they didn't answer a lot of questions that I had personally, but I'm starting to get some more of them rolling in after that they're telling people at the show, that they didn't tell to the world. But yeah, it was a good show. It was a real good show. I just wish they would have showed more games, but we'll see that at E3. One of the things that I noticed is a lot of the stuff they were showing, it can already be done. It's just not as streamlined. So I don't know if I saw enough new things that would entice me to go out and get it, although I will go out and get it right away, no matter what they show. But I'm talking about if I'm just your actual everyday customer that's not a huge gamer. But, they did show some cool things, too, like the snap to the multitasking.
Right, the snapping, the multitasking.
All the multitasking stuff was really cool. I like that. That was a new feature that seemed really cool.
It's pretty much taking your cable box, your Xbox 360, and your smart TV, all three of those, and putting them together into one thing.
It is. But you'll still require all of them.
Yeah.
In order
to have it all.
But it was cool. I thought it was pretty decent.
Well, obviously, you would need a TV.
Yeah, and you need your cable box to plug in, too.
Those are obvious.
Yeah.
Let's not make it sound like it's a big deal.
But, I thought it was a pretty good show. They spent a lot of time talking about their entertainment features. It's called Xbox One.
Yeah, Xbox One.
Xbox One.
Contrary to all the rumors.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
They sent out a smoke screen.
We heard there are so many names. Xbox Infinity, Xbox Fusion, Durango, Xbox 720, Xbox Loop.
Mm-hmm.
Loop, yeah.
Just Xbox.
Yeah.
But, it definitely, they're definitely going a different route than Sony, whereas Sony was going strictly gamer.
Just for the game.
Yeah, the Xbox is going for the whole entertainment package, so they're taking two different advertising options.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The one question I have about that strategy is I don't see the people like my parents who are using the Xbox for their entertainment options going out and getting another device to do those things. Did they show enough for that customer to go out and want to get a new thing that can do a lot of the things that they use already?
I think for those people it would be a slow adoption, just like it was this generation. Me and you had 360s when they first came out. Our parents didn't get a 360 until, 3-4 years after it was out.
And that's kind of why I was thinking, they should talk about that stuff because they did do a good job with that with their last cycle, unlike PlayStation, who didn't really do a great job of it, especially streamlining it. Whereas I figured that they weren't going to get those customers right off the bat anyway, so go ahead and go out and get your gamer audience right away, Yeah. So, but it's a good show, I definitely thought they did a good job. It had a good pace to it, It was good that they came out and showed the console, showed the Kinect, showed the controller right off the bat.
Right, and that new controller is sexy.
Yeah, it is. The controller looks great.
D-pad, exactly what everybody's been asking for the last 8 years.
Yep. The
thumbsticks
had
were
grips
incredible.
on them.
Yeah,
they had grips on them. Looked pretty cool. The triggers looked very big, which I didn't get to see enough of that to really know how big. But they definitely are bigger than the ones you have now on your Xbox.
Now, and the current triggers, they curve out for your finger to wrap around them, but the edges of them are still kind of hard and sharpened. Whereas the new triggers, they're saying like rounds all the way around, so that it fits more comfortably around your finger.
The one thing that I like about the triggers on 360 though is they feel like a gun trigger.
Right.
Yeah.
This sounds like they're going away from that.
It's just going to be... It looked like a big, chunky block.
Yeah, it did.
Know,
it did. None of us have seen enough of it to really know or have an opinion on it either way. But I just love the 360 triggers. I think that they're leaps and bounds above PlayStation 3's. In fact, I hate the PlayStation 3's triggers. It's just... I love that gun trigger feel, so I hope that they don't go away from it too much.
Right.
But no start and back button. They were a Windows button that looked like it was for multitasking.
One's for picture-in-picture.
Or multitasking.
For snapping.
Multitasking.
All that type of stuff. Yeah.
And the other one had 3 lines right under each other. Is that a keyboard, a text?
People were speculating it might be the start button.
Yeah, could be. And then they had the typical Xbox logo at the very top, which they didn't let people touch at the show.
If you really think about it, they don't really need a start button because the start button serves to pause the game and nothing more. And as of right now, 9 times out of 10, you can just press the Xbox guide button.
And that's how I pause my games, is the Xbox guide button.
So there's really no need for a start button.
That's guaranteed.
That's the other question. Was that a guide button at the top, or was it just a logo, or was it a touch guide button? They wouldn't let anybody touch it, so nobody knows. Yeah. I'm assuming it's a
I'm thinking it's a guide button.
It would have to be. They want to get rid of it.
Does that look just like the current guide button?
Yeah, I'm assuming it is, too. They came out, what else? The Kinect. Kinect looks great. The new Kinect. Now, lighting is no longer an issue, because even if you have a window wide open with the daylight flying in your back, it can tune that out.
Yeah, or you can be in total darkness.
In total darkness, right. And it can read winks of the face, it can read smiles, finger movements, all that good stuff.
And I think they said the latency was like 1/10,000,000th of a second or something. So it's like it's super responsive compared to the current Kinect.
And that's
out
good
there.
because that was a need.
Yeah.
The Kinect, the system will not function without a Kinect.
And the new camera is 1080. Like when the
call.
dude was Skype chatting, I mean that was it was like he was talking to him in HD, not like the low quality camera that they have in the current Kinect.
Interesting enough too. No matter what you're doing, if you get a Skype call, it looks like it's going to come right up at the top.
Yeah,
and you should just be able to go right into your Skype video. Even if you're watching a movie, you can multitask it to the side, which seemed pretty cool.
You have Skype on the side and keep playing Forza on the left, and then
that seemed like a good thing. The Kinect definitely looked bigger than the other one. Wider, anyway, in the front. It had a
definitely
long
bigger.
Speaker ball.
The console looked bigger.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Console looked very big. Although Scott Lowe from IGN said when he walked up and saw the box, it didn't look nearly as big as he initially thought, and he said it's about the size of an Xbox S.
Oh, okay.
So it did initially to us look huge.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not as big as it first looked.
Probably sort of how those close-up shots tend to do.
Yeah.
Like when you see a fast food commercial for a new burger, it's those close-up shots and the burger looks really big, and then you get down to McDonald's and it barely fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah. We did not get to see a headset, so we don't know if any headsets are hooked up to the controller like they used to be, or if they're just standard Bluetooth sets. That's something we didn't quite get. It does not require an online connection. Another thing that wasn't shown at the show, but we've gotten it. Does not. So, what else? No backwards compatibility.
Right.
None. 0.
Yeah.
Not even the slightest increment of backwards compatibility, except for your avatar, gamer score, and live account will transfer
I
over.
must have missed that part.
Profile will carry over.
The arcade games won't carry over then?
No backwards compatibility whatsoever.
And then they also said that they're going to continue to support the 360 for at least the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, right. Which is why there's no backwards compatibility.
Makes sense now, yeah.
Interesting stuff that was also coming after the show. Games will be required to be installed on your hard drive. Right. That's probably for the multitasking, so you can move in and out of your game.
Going along with that, it comes with a 500 gig hard drive.
500 gig, and that's your first option. Hopefully, they'll upgrade to a terabyte.
Yeah.
Because if you have to install every game, you're going to fill up very quick.
Especially considering games of the new generation are going to be a lot bigger.
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to be huge.
Well, it's Blu-ray.
I would say, like, your average game is going to be at least 10 gigs.
Yeah.
Unclear is whether you will still need the disc to play or not. And if so, are they going to have the used game stamp like they were talking about? Because there was rumors suggesting, which we were just talking about before the show came on, they would charge a fee, which has been proposed, to use the game that you bought on a second account, and it would have to be installed on that account. But I guess there's a lot of questions that we need to be answered there.
Right. Lot of speculation. We'll save the speculation for the end of the show. Let's talk about things that were definitely announced. Some of the partnerships. EA, brand new close partnership with EA, which they apparently tend to announce even more about this newfound partnership in the coming days and months, mainly probably at E3, which lends more credence to that rumor that the new game from Respawn could possibly be an exclusive.
Very well could be. We know the EA Sports games won't be exclusives. That's just something.
No, but they did say that they'll be getting exclusive content for each of those games.
Right. Which will most likely be Ultimate Team card packs.
For FIFA.
Yeah, for FIFA and Madden and all the popular Ultimate Team modes. But
interestingly, we saw the NBA Live coming back.
Yeah, we did. Caught a glimpse of that. No Tiger Woods. We obviously knew that they canceled Tiger Woods.
We talked about that last week.
Not canceled, but they're skipping a year.
Right.
A lot of in-engine stuff. No real demos that we saw. Forza. We haven't talked about Forza. Forza's launching with the new console.
Looked great.
We all know Forza was going to be great anyway. That's no news. Forza 5 will be a launch day title. Remedy. I thought P was about to nut his little panties, and then all of a sudden he got hit by a little ton of bricks.
But it still looked good to me.
It did. It did, and we know it's probably going to be a good
Anything
game.
from Remedy excites me.
Yeah, but not as much as Alan Wake 2 would have.
Alan Wake 2 would have excited me. But yeah, so the new the Quantum Break, it was kind of weird. The way they showed it off. It started out as like a live action thing, and then kind of switched into some in-game footage or in-engine footage of like a ship crashing through a bridge. The chick in the live action thing, she seemed to have some sort of special powers or something. So, and then there was some speculation that people were comparing it to the Beyond Two Souls or whatever, that it could be something similar to that. Definitely intrigued.
For those people that don't know too, going back to this Remedy thing, it would look like a regular TV show when it was live. It was, what they're saying is, and
speculating
essentially now you can hook your cable box up to your Xbox and without changing inputs, watch your cable box.
Could this be a TV show and a game that kind of tie into each other?
Well, they are going. They for anybody that did not see the show, is very entertainment focused, and they also announced the new Halo TV series in connection with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg's directing it.
So Microsoft is going to have their own shows coming out. Could this Remedy thing be a show and a game together? They were speculating about that.
That'd be interesting. It'd be like Defiance Now. We have the sci-fi show,
right? And that,
another big partnership was NFL.
And they didn't,
which is something that the 360 has been sorely lacking.
They didn't really, because I know you could get Sunday Ticket on the PlayStation, but you still had to. Currently, right now, if you're not familiar with the NFL, the only way you can get Sunday Ticket is to own DirecTV, and that's the only way. You can't get it. You can't go online and say, even through the NFL, you can't go online and say, I want to order, like on MLB, you can just get MLB TV on the internet and stream all the games. You can't even do that. You have to have DirecTV. Well, but I'm wondering is...
Now that it works through your cable provider...
Well, you always got local games through your cable provider, but they picked the games.
Right.
So what I'm wondering is this going... I want to know what this partnership is. Is it a way to get Sunday Ticket on your Xbox? Is it just a thing where you can have extra features while you're watching the games you're getting through your cable provider? I want to know what it is. If it's Sunday Ticket, that's huge for Xbox. But they didn't say that. We don't know. It's. But I can tell you right now, if it's Sunday Ticket, that might be the single key to Xbox selling a lot of boxes this holidays.
I can see a lot of people.
But I don't know if they can even do that because, from what I understand, DirecTV had a 10-year exclusivity deal on it.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's it. But I can tell you, if it is, that is a big win for Xbox. So
I can see people buying that. Guys at work that don't even touch video games, or have one because they wanted to play.
And if you do the Fantasy League stuff, you could multitask and be watching a game and working with your fantasy team. And if a play is made in real time during an actual game, it'll automatically update your fantasy team right away. And all that stuff was pretty cool, even to me. And I'm not really a big football
Well, a lot of that stuff too are like basically what you do when you play fantasy football. You sit there and you play. A lot of the smart TVs already do that. You type in your fantasy team because I know my TV does that. Yeah. Like you put which players you have on your fantasy team, and then when they score, it'll come up and show you your scores and stuff. This just seems like now you can do that on the Xbox too, and it did look cool because it was updating on the fly. Yeah, right. So you wouldn't need a computer to check your fantasy scores. But I'm assuming that's only if you play fantasy football through ESPN. Oh, I because see. Right now Yahoo is the biggest fantasy football provider. People do play on ESPN. I play on ESPN. I play on both. But I know it would be really cool if you could use any fantasy football provider, CBS, because the CBS, Yahoo, and ESPN are really the big three. So, I think it's going to be for ESPN leagues probably on there. Yeah, which it's fine. That was the partnership. Yeah, because that's the partnership. What else are we not thinking of?
I might have missed it, but did they talk anything about the arcade? Like, did they mention anything about, supporting indie game development?
They didn't really talk about it.
Didn't mention that. I think all the game stuff is going to be E3.
Yeah.
And
it would make sense for it to be.
I think that's the best way to do it, especially since they waited so long to do their conference right before E3. There is no real reason to blow their load now when they could just save it and have a terrific E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's still so many unanswered questions they're going to have with E3 too that aren't game related. So they're still going to have so much more to talk about other than games.
I think all the unanswered questions we have are game related.
Pretty much.
Well, no, I mean about the console itself.
But they're still game related, like about will the disc install? Does the disc have to be in there?
Right. Yeah, but when I say game related, I'm talking about a specific title and stuff like that, like trailers and demos. But I'm talking about the box itself.
Arcade, indie questions, all that. It's still all game related. Like I said, I think that this was the reveal of the console, showing off what it can do in a broader way, and then gaming is going to be E3. Anything centered around games, whether it be games themselves or features of the Xbox that revolve around games.
Well, they had some of that in this show too, though. It was, right.
It was like a little tease.
This show was a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Which I think that new system's going to be. If you think about it, they named it one. You can do all this stuff. Everything's going to incorporate around that one box.
Just like the Ring from Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
One console to rule them all.
So there's a lot of questions.
Will there be a flaming eye of Mordor on the front of the console?
There's a lot of questions that I have now, even more so than before the conference, I think.
Yeah. Well, mine are mostly game related. It's cool. I appreciate the system. I like the way it looked.
It was definitely sexy looking.
Yeah, it was nice. It wasn't overly complicated, and it looked like it was designed by some 20-year-old college grad. Like, oh boy,
let's put 20 or 30 buttons on this piece.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Also worth noting, there are a giant vent on the top, perfect where the fan was, and vent on the side. Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry about the red ring or any of that kind of crap. I'm pretty sure that they learned their lesson, and they're making sure that it doesn't happen.
You can turn on your console with the Kinect now.
Yes.
So I guess I don't know if I said it already, but the console won't run without a Kinect, and all consoles will come with one.
Right. So I'm also guessing that the console will probably always be powered on in a sense, but in a low-powered state. When you're not using it. Mm-hmm. So otherwise you wouldn't be able to walk in front of your console and say Xbox on.
That's true.
Because if it's not powered on at all, I wouldn't be able to hear your voice. So it would have to be running in a low-powered state even when you're not using it.
We talked Call of Duty Ghosts. That was pretty much the end.
Looked great, but it was Call of Duty. Call of Duty's Call of Duty.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see the game running. No. So,
it was more of like a cinematic trailer. They talked a little bit about multiplayer. You'll be able to customize your character now instead of having to play as whatever random little gillied out sniper guy that they have you spawn as, which is cool, but it's been done before.
True.
Yeah. There was another feature that they talked about for multiplayer that was supposedly an innovation.
Customizing your characters.
That's what I just said.
I'm thinking out loud. Like, what was the other one?
I'm not even sure, but
evolving maps.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So like destructible environments and stuff?
They didn't say that word, but that's
they did show light poles falling into cars.
Yeah, they showed stuff like that. So hopefully that's what they're going to do.
They already started moving into that area with Black Ops 2,
Yeah.
with a couple of the maps like Hydro and the one with the
That's
volcano.
changed,
I want to know how much money Activision had to pay Microsoft to get that much time at their reveal event. You know what I mean?
I don't think they had to pay them anything. I think Microsoft was happy to have them on stage, considering Call of Duty is the biggest selling franchise out there.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is that much time to talk about their game.
I mean, it was. It was the only
because essentially Call of Duty Ghosts got revealed like with the Xbox.
Yeah,
right.
You know, and I just feel like they probably had to pay a lot of money to Microsoft for Microsoft.
Microsoft is paying them to get the exclusivity rights to this DLC to get it first.
Well,
they were happy to have them on stage.
Yeah,
it's kind of a trade-off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe so.
They were happy to have them on stage.
But yeah, that's pretty much it from the show. Wasn't a very long show. It was about an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Battlefield 4 has been announced for the Xbox One. A list of games. Thief. Thief was announced. Assassin's Creed 4. There's a Destiny, of course, was announced.
Right.
There's a ton of them. The 2 mystery buttons on the controller. Let's see. I'm trying to Madden, FIFA, UFC, NBA Live. That's about it. Quantum Break.
Yeah.
Was shown at the event. So
right.
Not much really else to talk about.
Surprisingly, I was expecting what's his name, Peter
Molyneux.
I thought he was going to announce something or hint at something, but he was just kind of there off on the side.
Well, I guess his
comment.
His studio, 22 Cans, is very small.
Yeah.
Very small. If they did anything, I think it would have to be an arcade game. I don't think that he has enough money or his studio is even near big enough to make a AAA blockbuster title. Didn't hear anything about Fable, MMO, or otherwise, which was interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that they're saving that for E3 as well.
True. If they do that.
Yeah.
It seemed like, they announced Forza was a launch title.
Mm-hmm.
They had Call of Duty there.
Yeah.
Those are big guns.
They are.
So I feel like if Fable or Gears or Halo were going to be available at launch, that would have been talked about too.
It would have, but like I've been saying to a lot of people on the internet recently, Judgment just came out. Yeah, it's still fresh. We know
Halo 5 isn't coming out for a little while.
Yeah. I would guess Halo 5 would be next year, and next year's E3 we'll see Halo 5. Year after that would probably be Gears.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then they had Quantic Dream, which is Remedy. So I don't know if we're going to see at launch
Quantum Break.
What did I say?
Quantic Dream is the name of a company.
Yeah, did I say Quantic Dream?
Yeah,
I meant Quantum Break. The Remedy's new title. They announced that. I feel like I don't know if we're going to see a big blockbuster exclusive with the launch, other than Forza, because I think that would have been talked about. I think if Fable MMO was coming, I don't think they would have shown a bunch of gameplay footage or anything, but I feel like they would have said, "Hey, a new Fable coming out."
Yeah, something.
Yeah. I think they're saving all that for E3. I'm willing to bet that all the blockbuster titles they're saving for E3.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I think the only reason they showed Quantum Break today was so that they had something out there for the gamers. I think today was more for media outlets to show off what the console can do.
It clearly was. I mean, that was clear. But what I mean is not show off the game. Just say, and we have a new Fable too. Just show a 10-second teaser. And
that would take away from the surprise and the wow factor at E3, and I really think that they're trying to steal the show this year at E3, which I think they're saving all their big guns as far as gaming goes for E3.
It will be there at E3, and they will be talking about a new Fable at E3, but it won't be a launch title. Because if it was, I think we would have heard about it tonight.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because they talked about it. If you take away the 4 EA Sports games, they talked about 2 games: Quantum Break.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty Ghosts. They're going to have more than those at launch.
And Forza.
Guaranteed. And Forza. They're going to have more than those at launch. Guaranteed.
Sure they will. I don't know if they'll be the exclusives. That's what I mean. They're first-party exclusives. Well, there probably will be about 15 games, but most of those will be third-party. Launching on both systems.
They said 15 exclusives, 8 of them new IPs over the next 12 months.
Right.
Yeah. Not all of them will be launch titles, but I would bet you at least 2 of those that we haven't heard about are launch titles.
Yeah.
At least.
Maybe so. Forza's one of them, so we know one of them already is. You know what I mean? So you're talking.
I'm talking about besides Forza and Call of Duty.
I couldn't think of what else they would release. I tried to think about
the
original Xbox.
I mean, what else would there be that they would launch with?
Unless Rare's got something up its sleeve.
What,
Killer Instinct.
You know, and that's another thing. When you talk about 15 exclusives,
Yeah.
you're talking about Kinect games like Kinect Sports. You know, that's an exclusive game, but you wouldn't necessarily count that as like a AAA exclusive game. Because if that launched with the console...
I don't think they're trying to use Kinect for that anymore. I think Kinect is more about the entertainment stuff now and to work in tandem with the controller. Otherwise, they would have showed off Kinect Sports.
Now, I have a question, though. Remember I was telling you, I saw, you were talking about on the last show, I think. That,
you can bet there's going to be another Dance Central.
Oh, yeah, but the Illuma Room? Or whatever the hell that's called?
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
isn't that tied somehow together?
Actually, I think recently Harmonix came out and said that they were taking a break from Dance Central for a while. They have a new IP they're working on that's not even a music game at all.
Huh.
Well,
Harmonix is trying to tread.
I will say they're not going to get rid of Kinect games altogether. What about Rise? We talked about Rise. There's rumors that would be a launch title.
See at E3.
Yeah. And there's rumors that could be a launch title. That's a Kinect only game. So they're still going to have.
It was going to be a Kinect only game when we saw it at E3 2.5 years ago. Now I'm guessing it's changed. Otherwise, we would have seen it.
But you can guarantee they're still going to make Kinect only games. You can guarantee that.
I can't guarantee that.
With the success of the Sesame Street games and the Disneyland Adventures and that,
none of those games sold millions.
The Sesame Street game was a very popular game.
Well for what they were.
Yeah, well, that was also an arcade game.
But there's going to be, and that's what I'm saying.
In the form of arcade games, yeah, I can see that. As far as retail games, I don't think they're going that route anymore because Star Wars failed to impress and didn't sell all that well, even having the Star Wars name on it. Fable the Journey, while being a decent game, didn't sell great, and if anything could have sold, it would have been that or Star Wars. I just think all Kinect games that only use Kinect from now on are going to be arcade titles.
Even if they are, though, that's still an exclusive.
That's where they best fit.
But that's still an exclusive. You know, they didn't really come out and say we're gonna have 15 retail first party exclusives. Yeah. You know, they didn't say that.
They didn't have to because they come out with exclusive arcade games every other week.
Right. Well, sure. But not all of them are exclusive. But it's still an exclusive title for the Xbox One.
Well, since the Kinect comes with the new Xbox now, it's packaged in, and it won't work unless you have it. Mm-hmm. You think they would make... I'm guessing they're going to try incorporating that into every game.
That's what we were talking about before the show. A lot of the games now, you're going to be able to have a controller, and you move your head, and the Kinect will be more incorporated with your everyday games. Yeah, we're going to see a lot more of that in this console. You can guarantee that.
Right.
We're going to see a whole lot of that.
It's nice, actually, now, because when Kinect first came out, I've never been a fan of it.
Right.
I don't personally like
because you had to be standing up.
And I mean, now it's not that. It's
now you can be sitting down and use the controller with it at the same time.
Well, you could still do that before. They just didn't make enough of that. You know,
the only game that really embraced that so far was Forza.
Forza, right? And it's because companies just didn't really adopt it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a cool feature that could be used. It just needs to be adopted more. So.
I just felt like it was a cheap gimmick when it first came out, but now it seems like they can actually utilize it better with the better technology.
Yeah, my Kinect just collected dust.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't use it.
That's why I never bought one.
I plugged it in to play Skyrim for a while. I used it in Mass Effect 3, but other than that, every once in a while I'll boot it up and play like Kinect Adventures or Kinect Sports with Solomon, but even he would rather me and him sit down and play Gears of War together.
Yeah.
So
I would have to say, though, they have to come out with another Kinect Sports to show off what the capabilities of the new Kinect are. They have to.
Yeah.
Well, Rare's working on 2 games right now, one of them's going to be Kinect Sports.
Yeah.
The question is, what's the other one?
Yeah. Well, so that'll be a Kinect-only title, because they're going to have something that showcases a Kinect, what the Kinect can do.
Yeah.
And Kinect Sports is the best way to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It was, yeah.
Well,
that's pretty much all.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
We could speculate.
Yeah.
I mean... I want to know what the arcade marketplace is going to be like and what the new arcade...
What I'm guessing is...
Indie games. I'm worried about those, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they really didn't put a lot of emphasis on that. And I don't know what the heck is going to happen with all that. I mean, there's going to be an Xbox arcade marketplace.
Obviously.
Yeah.
We know that. But, man, a lot of great titles are going to be left on your 360.
Yeah.
So, basically, don't trade in your 360 for the new Xbox.
Yeah.
Don't do it, because you're going to lose all your games if you do.
Right.
That was kind of a bummer for me because I know when me and him were talking, I never minded a 360 disc game not being backwards compatible. I understood that. It makes sense.
We were hoping that the
your arcade collection will port over.
Yeah.
Because I just got so many great arcade games, you know. And
you think about how much money you spend on those things. You just don't want to leave them.
Also, I mean, how awesome would it have been for them to be able to have the whole 360 library of arcade games available at launch of the new console?
That would be nice.
You know, if it's not that way, then they're going to be essentially starting arcade over again fresh.
My worry exactly that when day one when I get the console and I go to Xbox Live Arcade, is there going to be two games on there? 2 games?
That's it, yeah.
You know, they've got such a vast library of backstop. It'd be a great way for the 8-year-old kid who gets an Xbox One who never had a 360. I know there's not many of them, but
it's also worth noting that they said it's not going to be backwards compatible, but they could have been talking about retail games.
Could have been.
Yeah.
So,
and remember that a couple episodes ago we were talking about how the Xbox One, when we were talking about it,
720 as it was then.
Yeah, direct.
Yeah.
But how it would connect to like a smaller Xbox. Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah,
if you notice at
the rumored Stingray / Xbox.
If you notice at the very beginning of the show, when he talked about the backstory of Xbox and Xbox 360, he said, and we'll be talking about the new age of 360 coming up at E3.
So they're still
there's a good possibility. Now I didn't see one that would. I didn't see anywhere that it could connect.
And how big is that for them to show off a new console here today, and then go to E3 and not only focus it on games, but have a new iteration of the 360? Almost, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's that.
Me personally, I could care less about a new 360. You know,
because we already have one.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I was just worried about because I remember we were talking about. They said then you could play your games through the new Xbox.
Right. But
then it defeats
at the same if you're going to do that, you might as well just power on your 360.
Exactly.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
There's no and anybody who.
Unless you could transfer files.
Essentially, I think what they would be releasing the new Xbox for is your Apple TV adapters. So you could get the entertainment features of the Xbox without having to buy a full-fledged console.
Which could still be what the Xbox Mini or Stingray is supposed to be.
Right, yeah.
We just don't know.
So, I don't know. You know, we'll see. It's a lot of questions.
When's E3? What was that?
June 10th. June 10th. Monday. And I will be off, and we'll do a show that evening, probably.
Nice.
But yeah, so still a lot of questions, but I mean overall it was a good conference, but it wasn't the best conference I've ever seen. Yeah. Like I would say they committed a third of that conference to sports, which might excite someone like Jayray.
Yeah,
but
didn't really excite me much at all.
I would say that, I mean,
especially when they came out with that trailer and they had, RG3 and that soccer guy sitting there talking for like...
That was unnecessary. I mean, I think it was Damon Hatfield said...
Didn't do the console any justice.
They didn't talk about anything that had to do with gaming until the 33-minute mark of the conference.
Right, the last half.
Yeah. So...
Well, they were just trying to appeal to...
They did come out and talk about the specs, 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
So, which is good. But they didn't specify which, is it going to be the DDR3 or the DDR5?
The new 5.
Although Peter Molyneux pretty much said that he thinks it's going to be the DDR5.
Yeah.
And
he said he thinks it has to be.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, they're going to lose a lot of processing power to the PlayStation.
Yeah. And being as how he just left Microsoft recently, I think he would know.
It just seems funny that they wouldn't say, why wouldn't they say that? That seems so funny to me. Like, okay, 8 gigs. It seems like, okay, well, the normal person that doesn't know what they're talking about is going to think, oh, it's the same.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like we were saying, a lot of questions that we had when the press conference first ended. We had a crap ton of questions, and then suddenly they're answering those questions to people after the show.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll be one of the things that gets answered.
Exactly.
Because that was kind of a red flag to me. Like, why wouldn't they say that? But hopefully that'll be one of the things they talk about after the show.
Right.
So.
That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, it's been a good show, and we will have another episode. Probably just wait and do our next episode for after E3. Maybe,
cool.
Yeah, I think so because there's going to be a lot to talk about for that show anyway.
Yeah. Maybe do like last year we did a before and after E3 show. Maybe this year we could do a before show and talk about all this because there's obviously going to be a lot of information released between now and E3.
Oh yeah,
and talk about that and then do an after show.
Here's an interesting tidbit. I just want to throw out there. I just got it in. All right, it says...
Hot off the press.
The headline says, Xbox One to become more powerful over time using cloud computing.
Interesting.
Which means, basically, if it runs out of space for large games, they'll be able to use space for their games from the cloud.
From the cloud.
That's interesting.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It says the Xbox has 8 gigabytes of RAM, 64-bit processor, and plenty of muscle. However, it looks like that it could get more muscle over time based on cloud technology that Microsoft has put a heavy emphasis on.
You know, another thing I'm wondering is the hard drive, is it going to be removable?
It didn't look like it. I mean,
well,
at least from what we saw quickly.
The Xbox Slim, if you look at the Slim, you wouldn't think you could remove the hard drive, but the panel on the side comes off. You can pull it out. But I mean, it was very obvious with the first iteration of the 360 because it was made so you could snap on, snap off, take it, and put it on your friend's console.
Yeah. Like I said, we have lots and lots of questions, so.
For sure. So the weekend before E3, we'll come at y'all and update y'all with what we found out between now and then.
Also, and there's a lot of news that we're going to find out between now and then that you can get on our Twitter feed. Check our Twitter feed at FragTag Radio. We are posting news there all the time.
All the time.
Send us questions.
Constantly.
You want to check and see if we have any Twitter questions real quick before we go, or you want to just save those, or...
Let's save those for the Before E3 show, because this was not a very plan. I mean, if you've got something in particular, I mean... Feel free.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I know we got a lot of questions. We'll answer your questions from Twitter on Twitter. How about that?
Works for me. All right, Frag Tag Radio, and we will catch y'all later.
Frag Tag Radio.